And welcome back. This is Mario and Daniel once again, the Awaken Men podcast. We're sort of
Yes.
rested.
No.
Well, last time we talked about communication, and that was kind of cool, being able to talk about communication. And communication is very interesting right now.
Yeah.
With Mercury in retrograde, communication becomes very critical.
Hmm.
And
That's true.
one of the things I've come to discover, it's like the not about communication, but just about myself overall. It's like I'm during this time of always Mercury in retrograde, they always say go within. And it seems like we have just so much childhood trauma, or it seems like, at least for me, it seems like it's childhood, always in the childhood. I guess that's because that's our mental state, right? That's when we're developing according to science.
Hmm.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah, they say your beliefs are ingrained like by the age of 7.
age of 7. Wow, that young,
A
huh?
lot of your belief systems are already in place. Yeah.
Yeah, I've always wondered about that because I know a lot of the things that I've gotten to deal with have been like around 13, but then as I go further back, it seems to go further back to like um, around 7 years old, or even a little bit younger than that. It's interesting because our mind just kind of blocks all that stuff away, and it's kind of weird. Things
Hmm.
just pop up.
Yeah, I mean it's stored in the body to me. But we have to function. So I
Hmm.
mean, I'm glad it doesn't come up until it's supposed to come up. But I know for me, the more I exercise and the more I almost have to release trauma. Like I
Hmm.
have to work on my body because that's where it's like it's lodged.
Yeah, yeah. The body is that's the big thing that I've learned throughout all of this is that the body really does manifest a lot of things. I mean, uh, I don't know the only way I can explain it, at least these are my words, is when I've learned that I have a pain about something or about that in the knees or sometimes the elbows or the back. There is usually an emotion attached to it, and it takes for me in meditation. It's interesting. It just pops up, and it doesn't show up like you would think it like it just feels like a pain, and then all of a sudden I can't even describe the pain, and then as I meditate I begin to see what that pain is, and sometimes
Right.
it's sadness, anger, or something like that. I do believe, and I don't know where you stand in this, Daniel, that I think we could heal a lot of our a lot of our body aches through meditation and looking at those emotions.
I 100% agree. Um, I mean, obviously, you do have to move your body and things like
Yeah.
that. Like that is important. Health and stuff does release things, right?
Hmm.
When people give up caffeine or go on detoxes, it does. But to me, yeah, the meditation. I've healed my body through meditation. I've healed my
Hmm.
back, and yes, I did yoga and things. But to heal it long term, you have to go within and face the emotions, and the emotions will come up anyway.
Yeah.
But if you can constantly ignore them forever, which is what most a lot of
Most
people
people
are
do.
doing,
Yeah. Yeah. And,
including me. I'm good at it too.
we all are. That's why we're here. It's interesting about yoga because I've always understood it. At least when I read the history, yoga was very meditative before, and I know there's some good yoga practitioners out there that teach that still. But nowadays, it's like yoga has become very sporty. It's like you got to have like the right type of outfit, or you got to do this and yeah, I tried doing yoga via video one time and, went on YouTube and looked at it. And man, some of these people, it's like, oh, yeah, now stretch like this and do this. And it's like by the time I'm getting into that position, they're already on to the next move.
Yeah, I mean, for me, yoga was meant to meditate, right? To get your
Mhm.
body ready. So actually, in India, they do really hard yoga, And really what they want to do is tire out their body to meditate. So yes, yoga is meditative, but really it's to meditate more afterwards. Um, so yoga's it's supposed to be strenuous, which is interesting because there's a view that it's not. And there is the yin and yang of yoga, but
Yeah.
um,
Well, it has
and
to be
that's
strenuous
important
to
too.
work the body. I mean, it does have
Right,
to
and
work the
also you
body.
want to tire out the body. I mean, that's the move the stuff, right? And then to me, and this is not a yogi thing, but like to move the stuff through the body and then meditate. So a lot
Mhm.
of people will exercise and then meditate because that moves everything. I know for me, like I have to almost go lift weights to move stuff. Like
Mhm.
I'm feeling emotions today because I've been lifting weights, and
Mhm.
that like moves something in me. I can feel because I've been so active that
Right.
I need to sit with myself after this video before I go to the show because there's something like moving through me. Um, but if I don't move my body or like do push-ups, it doesn't move. It stays forever, which is really weird. But
Yeah,
but
and
not really.
it is it's not weird because when you if you want to go scientific on it, you are actually you're moving energy. I mean, you really are moving energy, and I mean that's all our emotions are. I mean, they're electrical chemical reactions
Right.
I mean, it's just energy. It's electricity going through our body. So yeah, I mean, I can understand it. For me, it's kind of different because I can use exercise for that too. But for me, sometimes just kind of doing yoga, certain yoga poses, or I do Tai Chi, which Tai Chi, there's different types of Tai Chi. And the one I do to work more with is the one that's just works with the energy. So it's very slow moving and very patient with yourself, but it still works the heart out, which is kind of interesting. And the instructor says it's because you're moving that chi energy. And I'm always fascinated how sometimes even the most slow moving poses can really work that body. And to me, that for me is what makes me feel that energy feel. It's like I process things, and
Hmm.
everybody's different. I just want to make sure not everybody's way of being is their way of being. And don't ever think that we have to be like the other. We have our own uniqueness for a reason.
Yeah. No, and I like slow yoga too. I mean, I like doing that on my bed,
Hmm.
which is probably what I need today if I was going to do anything. Because my body's like, whoa. But um, yeah, I mean, it's important to, yeah, do something that brings that out.
Hmm.
Um, because I think I feel this strongly. Like, I'm very called to be in my body. And that's something I haven't done in the past. Like, I'm like, want to anchor my soul in my body. And the only way to do that is to be in my body, to exercise and be in health and like to focus on it in some senses, and that brings me into it, right? Like there's that side. So to me, that is so important. And to being here is you have to be right. I think a lot of people want to get out of their don't want to be in the moment because their body hurts, so they want to go somewhere else.
Yeah, and that's the one of the things I've ran into, especially in the spiritual community, is that a lot of people want to leave here and they want to live in spirit only. And I see it a lot in different types of ceremonies and different types of gatherings. Everybody wants to be in that other place. And in reality, our physical essence is here. So some of it has to be here, in my opinion, because if you're over there, then you're leaving this body over here to go away, and this is where our experiences happen. That's the way I've understood it, at least.
Yeah, I mean, to me, you become more conscious and more tapped in being here. It's kind of the ironic thing
Hmm.
where people think going out there is going to help, and there is value to going out there. I'm not saying don't, um, but the more sober I've been and the more connected I've been, and that's being more here,
Hmm.
um, the more this life has actually become better for
Yeah.
me. So and it all happens at the perfect time. But yeah, people spiritually want to be, yeah, somewhere else. They want to be, we
Mm.
said like in the other videos, communities, or escape society and escape the world. And there's a balance there. Like I have a balance of, I live up in the mountains and I meditate and then I go into the world and I go back. But I like that because I know I need to be in the world too, affecting people. And that doesn't mean I deliver food and ride Uber. I don't have to have a job that's like super purposeful, but I want my energy in the world in some
Mm.
form. Like I
Yeah,
want to express that light to the world.
yeah, and that's the most important part. It's like just one is just the being, and then recognizing what is yours. I mean, and what, because if you're in this world and you're actually discovering what you do, I mean, that's putting forth some effort for your body to process whatever you're going through. Sometimes those pains that I get are because I'm not doing something. And by that, I don't mean like an exercise. I mean, sometimes I'm not on the right path. And that's the way my body, or that's the way spirit tells my body to tell me, hey, you're not doing this. It's like, or sometimes when I'm carrying too much, my back hurts. And by that, I mean carrying too much emotional stuff, my back hurts. Or sometimes when I'm not in my very being gentle to myself, my left side, the feminine side that they say, starts hurting. So it's like there's always these signs. It's just that we got to listen to the body, and we don't do that
Mhm.
because we're so fast doing other things.
No, I mean we got caffeine. We have, and I do that too. And there's a calling to get off it again. But like, yeah, just not listening. We're pushing our bodies over and over again to do more,
Yeah.
and it doesn't work. It doesn't make you more money. It doesn't. It's just short term fix.
Mm.
Um, but when we connect to that, I'm tired, or this is what I need from your bodies. It's actually like a spiritual practice, because you're coaching yourself. I mean, if you are the higher self controller of this character, and your consciousness is looking at this character, you're going to help this character, right? So instead of you being like, well, yes, I know you want to go to the thing, but your body hurts, so you need to stay home, or whatever it is, or you're sick, right? You can't go to work. But
Hmm.
you become that parent to yourself. And I think from that state, things just go better. And if you're more rested and your body feels better, you're going to be more positive and enthusiastic. And, then you're going to you're going to be, because really this is a show.
Yeah.
So if you rest during the day before you go out into the world, then you can put on a better show for the world, which is what
Hmm.
you want to do, right? You want to be enthusiastic, passionate, light being in the world. But when
Hmm.
people don't rest and do the like that and exercise, then they can't be that. Like if Tony Robbins didn't exercise like crazy, he couldn't be that pumped all
Yeah.
the time. That's what he does. And then he rests, like when he's not doing that stuff, like he takes care of himself.
Especially Tony Robbins, man. That man like runs all over the place when he's in play. I guess is what I call it. He he definitely needs some workout energy there all the time.
Yeah, but he's creating an essence of passion and enthusiasm, which in being here, right? Because you're in your body and you're jumping up and down, you're in the moment, like you're activating something within you. So that's what people need.
Yeah.
That's more than, you know, all the things we think people need. But I think
Yeah.
that's super important.
Yeah, it's so funny. We try to fit into so many boxes. The exercise box, the this is what spirit you should follow, or this religion or whatever. And really, I mean, that's where listening into your body is probably one of the best ways to know if this is for you. So anytime that you connect to your body when you're trying to make a decision, it also helps not only the spiritual side of it, but your body knows. It's like it's built of your spirit essence. So in my opinion, it would give you a certain feeling in there too, because how else would your spirit talk to you? Because it is in you.
Yeah.
So I find that fascinating also. And when we disconnect ourselves from the body by doing whatever, drinking more, well, I'm drinking tea, but drinking more coffee and getting desensitized by doing this or doing that or distracted, we lose that connection, which is kind of a very important connection.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, that's where your impulses, intuition comes from. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, it's not in your mind. Like, yes, for me, rarely have I gotten intuition that's been in my mind. And it happens. Like, I'll get like a thought. Usually it's an impulse. It's like a feeling in my body that's like, do this.
Mm-hmm.
Like last night I went and drove someone to the concert I went to. Like, it didn't mentally, it actually made no sense, but my body was pulling me towards it. And it actually was really amazing. Like, I'm really glad I did it. And it led me to some things I wouldn't have been led to otherwise. So what's the pulling towards you, right? And following that. And
Mm-hmm.
that's, you have to be connected to your body to follow. If you want to be an intuitive being and manifest things and be magical, like, you have to be connected to your body.
Mm-hmm.
Or you can't. That's why then you're going back and forth. You're like, do I do this or do I do this? And if I do that all the time, but if I'm in that state, that means I'm overthinking, and that means I'm not connected enough to my body, and I need to sit with myself longer. Like this morning, my brain was going a little fast. I'm like, okay, I need to go sit outside for 20 minutes. And I did, and I felt better. So I had to reconnect. That's all it took.
Yeah, sometimes it doesn't. It's not that much time. I mean, it's a quick check-in, and the more you do it, the more it becomes just a way of being. Like for me now, when I started, I used to always go, oh, don't forget to check in with your body, and now it's just kind of a natural thing for me that when I'm trying to make a decision, it's like, okay, what am I feeling? And it becomes just part of you. It's that thing that they say, 30 days takes a habit to really settle in. And so far, it's proven right for me. And everything that I want to change, it and within 30 days, I usually change it.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. There's the book called The One Thing, which I've read some of it, but I got the idea from it. Um, yeah, if you change one thing at a time for 30 days, over a year, you would change 12 things. So what I usually do is like, it's like our challenges, but I'll be like, this month is this. I'm going to do this. I'm just focusing on this conscious decision. And then the next month it's this. And then but instead of trying to change 8 things at once, then I change one thing at once, which seems to work a lot better. It's like little steps lead to big changes.
Yeah, I tried doing the whole thing about changing everything that I was doing, and that just didn't work.
No.
It just really does not work. It's one, it gets confusing, and then two, you you start losing track of what you did.
Right.
Did I work on that? And that's why even with exercise, and you and I talked about this, or even in our coaching calls, it's like the body. It's like I mean, I lost my train of thought.
Hmm. That's okay.
Ah, anyway. So the body's always talking to us. I can't believe that.
Yeah, definitely. And sometimes that's what it's. I mean, a lot of people are tired. Well, they're doing too much and they're not resting enough. I mean,
Mhm.
to me, if there's an epidemic, it's the lack of rest, lack of being, right? In this country, at least, like
Yeah.
a lack of being for sure. I know I even need more of it. Like, I had to fight it, right? So I had to, that's why I practiced meditating for a while for an hour or two a day. And now I do that just naturally. I don't have to like think about it.
Mhm.
Like, I might stop for a day or two, but then I always go back. So it's not even on my conscious mind now. And then I'll be like, oh, I'm going to do this every day for an hour. And then that comes part of my routine. And then um, it's just so much easier that way. And I don't know, I've learned, and this is being connected to my body and being grounded, that I had to make littler changes. And they're actually leading to bigger changes
Mhm.
faster. It's like, all right, I'll just do one video and then it'll lead to this and then it'll lead to this. And then, it leads to more and more things. But everyone these days seems to want things right away. They're like, I want to go from $0 to $1 million tomorrow. Well, you don't. It would be
Mhm.
drastic, and you're going to go back. You're not going to know what to do with it. Like, you think you want your business to grow instantly, but you don't. Like, you'd rather it grow slowly and organically flow to something. Like, but you want to make those little changes to see the things grow. Like, that's actually fun, right? Like, watching a flower grow is fun because it grows slow. It would be very rewarding if it just went.
Well, you always hear also about like the people when we talking about the like instant. It's like the people that get lottery. It's like they win the lottery. It's like a lot of them wind up being worse than they were before after the lottery because they decided to spend the money on everything right away rather than over time, and that's just kind of something to do. I'm talking about money, but it goes with anything. Anything that you get, sometimes the emotion is not there. It's like sometimes there's something about the human, for me, where it's nice to it feels like you earned it. It's like, oh yeah, I really worked for this. And it's like, okay. For me, that feels a little bit better. It gives me more satisfaction, I guess, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I actually been reframing that, and it kind of happened naturally. And I was Ubering and delivering food, and I was like, wow, the universe gifted me this money today. And I was like, interesting. You used to say I earned it or I manifested that money. And I'm like, no, I got gifted this money. It was like
Oh, I like that.
I received it, right? It wasn't even like I had to
Mhm.
do anything really. Like I was just hanging out, but like I got gifted this. And I was like, oh, that's cool. Like I'm just receiving it. It's different. It's then you don't have to earn it. It's like I'm just getting gifted the food
Mhm.
or the money or everything's a gift to me, which is kind of what it is, right? You
Mhm.
work all week and then they gift you a paycheck. Like really in that moment you're getting gifted that paycheck from the company.
Yeah.
You're receiving it. It's not that you earn it, which is it feels better. It's more appreciation then, I guess. Not
It's
like I earned this and I deserve it. It's like, well, thank you so much for that paycheck. Now I can pay my bills that I appreciate because it gives me a car and a house. Thank you, rent. Like that.
yeah, I guess when you change it around like that, it is very different. It's like even the energy of it, of being earned. It's like, yeah, I deserve it. And that's such an ego way of thinking about it. When you say it's a gift, I mean, that's more of a heart type response, in my opinion. So it helps. Yeah, that's pretty cool. That's pretty neat. I like that. I'm gonna start framing my stuff that way too.
Right, because it's really gift to gift.
hmm
I mean, everything's a trade, even if it's money. Like you're giving them a popsicle, they're giving you $10. Like really, it's not. I mean, it is a buying selling thing. I'm not denying that exists, but um, it's still gift to gift, and we see it that way. Then then we don't go. I got to do this to get this.
Right.
That makes sense. And by working as an entrepreneur, you realize that because I can work less hard and make more money. It has
Mhm.
nothing to do with me earning it. Like sometimes they give me bonuses. I don't earn those. I mean,
Right.
they're just extra. I just get gifted it. Like the company gifted me more money. Like it's
Mhm.
cool. Um, and then, like I worked and I got gifted $120 and I'm going to concerts that cost $120. I'm like, cool. Like I got gifted these tickets by the universe. Like I'm seeing how it's working. Like it's all in a flow that's so perfect.
Yeah, it
Um,
all starts coming together like that. Yeah, yeah, because it is a very different way. A gift is more of a receiving energy. I'm trying to see if I can say this right. It's definitely more you're allowing it, and that's my thing. It's like I like to allow things. So if you're receiving it, you're allowing for yourself to get that gift, which
right.
that's more powerful to me. Yes, I agree with your terminology changing it, and I can see why.
Right. Because people usually have guilt with that, like
hmm
receiving a lot. They have to earn it, which really people that are really wealthy or whatever don't really earn it. They're not doing more work than you, which
hmm
is ironic in its sense. But like when people buy me food, I'd say yes. Like I drove someone to the show and they wanted to buy me food the whole day. And I was like, okay, like that's cool. Like I will, and I liked it. It was kind of fun, right? Like I drove them, they didn't give me money, they just bought me food, and that felt really good. And I said yes, and that was great. And it was actually a legitimate trade, right? Because I'm helping them, but like,
Yeah,
they're not using gas and stuff. But receiving those gifts is awesome. And seeing it as a gift, right? The company wants to pay you because they like your work. So they feel better paying you. If you just
yeah,
worked and the company never paid you, they would feel bad. So you receiving the paycheck makes you feel better. So then people want to give you anything, you just receive it.
yeah. Yeah, and it opens up so many windows like that, and it does give you a certain different type of appreciation for it. It definitely does change the energy. I like that.
Yeah, I mean, I noticed I did it, and it was just, yeah, it was interesting. It just like kind of came up, and then yeah, I was like, oh, that's really cool. It feels better.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and yeah, I mean, I've gotten gifted a lot of things like for nothing, and that feels good. And I've given things out to people too, and that feels good for me. Um, but it's just a fun way of functioning. And it's not that we're not going to have an economy and don't like charge for your services, but view it as like, oh, that customer is a gift to me. They gave me that gift. It was of money, and that's awesome. They're basically supporting your life.
Yeah.
um
And it's an energy exchange. So that also goes along with the whole theme of the body. It's like you're processing different energy that doesn't, it's more you just open the door and come on in kind of thing. And that gives, it's like a cyclical thing. It you get more, you can give more, and vice versa. If you're giving more, you're making more space to receive more. So it's all working in tangent with the universe. And I mean, just a little exercise for everybody out there. It's like, just imagine how it feels when you get a present you really like. I mean, then that's something physical in its manifestation, but feel your body, how different it is. That's a gift. And it's like, oh wow, that's cool. And it feels very different than, it's like, here, you got a paycheck for working 10 hours. I mean, right there itself is very different kind of energy.
right, but if you view it as a gift,
Mm-hmm.
they're gifting you money, and you're gifting, like, you're working your time, like, that feels, it gets out of that, yeah, that earning state of mind. Because I was meditating earlier, and I was like, there's some fear in me, and I was like, there's a fear of relying on other people, and I was like, I don't want to be dependent. So that
Mm-hmm.
was like a deep fear of like not having money, was I would have to rely on others. And I was like, but I always rely on others. Like, everything is gifted to me. I'm relying on the universe, I'm relying on the roads, I'm relying on so many things. Like, to let that part go. Like, even a business is dependent on their clients. They're not
Mm-hmm.
independent. Someone that works for themselves is dependent on their job. They're not really independent. Like, we can't be fully independent. Like, that's not possible. If oneness exists, there's
Yeah.
we've gotten so far away from it
Yeah.
that we actually think we need to be independent. But we're moving back towards it.
Well, it's funny, but you said it just right though. It's just the illusion of being independent, because really, even the person that goes out and decides to get rid of society, and go into the middle of the forest or the trees or the mountains or wherever, they still got to rely on something, which they're relying on nature. So they're still not independent. I mean, independent would be if you, well, I can't even see a scenario where you could be independent, because you would have to still rely on something. As long as you're in this human body, you're still relying on something.
Mm,
Yeah, there's no way you can actually be independent. I mean, that, talk about the bigger illusion there. So, are we really independent?
right. And for me, the fear was even deeper, and I'm remembering. And I always and was that I couldn't rely on my parents at certain times.
Hmm.
So then I stopped relying on everyone else. And I was like, oh, so back to the childhood thing all in a circle. Where it was like, and it wasn't that my parents were perfect, but there might have been a certain moment where I couldn't, they weren't there,
Right.
or they weren't emotionally stable. So now I'm like, well, I can't rely on my parents, then how can I rely on anyone?
Hmm.
Or rely on the universe, or rely on God? Like, it became like this thing. I was like, oh, like, I feel like I have to do it
Yes.
deep down, or I will fall apart. What if I fall? And that to me is surrender, right? Like,
Yeah.
saying, I don't have to do it. It's not about me taking care of me.
Yeah. And that surrender word, a lot of people have a lot of issues with it. And, I do it too, but I've been getting so much better at surrendering. It's just one of those things that, okay, I've surrendered. Okay, now and then I allow it. It's like, okay, now I'm able to allow it because I surrendered. It's like and it's not really giving up, because a lot of people have told me, well, that just means you gave up. Like, no, I didn't. There's a difference. It's like the difference in giving up. It's like, oh, you know what? It's like, whatever. And kind of
Right.
let it. Surrendering is recognizing that I'm trusting the world, the universe, God, whatever you want to call it, and I'm trusting that everything's going to be fine. That's all. And there's nothing wrong with that.
No. Yeah. To me, it's like what people do, or I've done this too, is like you're a tree and say you're not getting enough money in your life, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let's say the money is rain. So you sit there and like want to manifest and control reality to get the rain to come. When if the tree just went, I'm just going to be a tree and the rain will just come if it comes. And I might die if it doesn't, but I don't have a choice, right? I might wither. I might like not be as grow, but what am I going to do about it? Like the rain will come when it comes,
Mm-hmm.
you know, but people think they're going to control this somehow. And it's ridiculous. It's really just funny.
Yeah, because control the other illusion. We really don't have control over anything. We really don't. The only control that
No,
we really have is just us, and even then, we don't. I mean, everything is there for a reason. Everything happens to us for a reason. So even the thing that you think you're controlling is actually happening for another reason.
right. It'd be like being in a video game and being the character in the video game and sitting there trying to manifest the video game to be different instead of going along with how the video game
Yeah,
goes.
that's yeah, that's a good way. I like that analogy. That actually makes it very well put like that.
Right. Don't be like Deadpool trying to get the writer to write something different.
That's a. I love that. I love that.
Yeah. No, it's funny. But that's like him. Like Deadpool will be like, I want to control the comic book, but he can't, right? Like so
Uh-huh.
it makes him neurotic and crazy. Trying to control what happens. Um and yeah, I mean you can control perception and you control like your gratitude. I mean, there's things you can control, but and by letting go of control, you're actually gonna have more power to get what you want. That's the ironic part. It's like a tree grows. I mean, they're pretty consistent in getting
Right.
what they want. They might have a year or two where it's dry, but then they wait. So
The
they're
key is
fine.
patience. Patience.
Mm.
That's the other struggle with a lot of people and me myself. It's like sometimes I want something happening right away, and if I'm just patient and just sit with it, it comes through. Like all the stuff I've been doing, it's like it took me 5 years to develop all the stuff that I wanted to do, and now it's finally coming here. It's like, but man, I was just pushing it so hard.
Right. And once you get patient, it comes faster. That's like the ironic part of surrender. It's like the
Yeah.
Eckhart Tolle effect, where he finally got in the moment and he made $1 million book. And now is, you know, we're going at it the wrong way. We're going like, let's do these things, but not like, let's get more present and more in the
Yeah.
moment and more meditation or whatever it is. And then things will just happen.
Yeah, and once again, it comes back to the body. Also, it's interesting. The more we talk about it, the more I see it's like, okay, well, how would we know that? Well, we would feel it in the body. And of course, you get like an intuitive hit, but there's always, at least for me, I don't know about you, Daniel, but every time I get some type of knowing, some kind of confirmation, while yes, I do get that knowing, it's like I still feel it in the body. It's like usually for me, it's like right around my solar plexus area. It's like, oh, yes, this is right. Or I get goosebumps.
Yeah.
That's my other one. That seems to be a big one for me. Anytime I know I'm doing something the way it's supposed to be, it's like, oh yeah, I get that confirmation in one way or another.
Yeah. Definitely. And trusting that. I
Yeah.
mean, that's the challenge. I don't want to say hard part. Maybe this will be the challenge, but not trusting your mind. Your mind makes things up.
Yeah.
Like I say this, my mind will be saying the other thing constantly, and I'll just trust my body, and it always works out somehow. And when I fight it, I don't feel good, and I notice it sometimes. Like this is not what I expected, but this is my body's telling me to do to, you know, and I create more of a challenge than I need to.
And sometimes it's, I remember like a couple of things that just in the past few weeks where it's like, oh, I should I go here? Should I go there? And when I force myself into a situation, it's like, oh, well, I'll go over there. God, it was miserable. But my body had told me that. And it's like, I didn't listen to it. It's like, oh, it's like I didn't listen to my body. And I mean,
Right.
body knows because it is connected to your spirit. I mean, that's the whole thing. That's the irony. Hey, we just listen, but we are so stubborn.
Right. We think we know what's best for us.
Yeah.
Bashar says that. Your higher self's like, there's a hole over there. And you're like, but I know what's best for me.
But
Like, I'm going to these string cheese shows. I'm tired. Like, but I'm still going because my body's telling me to go.
uh-huh.
Like, it's telling me to rest and not work until I go. But it's like, I get my intuition's telling me go there. And I'm like, okay, like, that's where I'm supposed to be. And that's honestly the opposite of what my brain was like, well, we can save money and rest and blah, 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 blah. But like, if things are like, go. And
Hmm.
every time I follow that, like, because you don't even know what it is, right? I could be going, like, the woman I'm seeing now, I went to a show I wouldn't have went to, but my body told me to go just because she was there, so
Hmm.
I could start seeing her. Like, that was the reason. It wasn't anything to do with the thing. So like my intuition knows paths to everything I desire faster, which is a surrender. It's not like I know how to get there. I actually know what's best for me. Um, my thing I always say is my body is way smarter than I am.
Yeah. Yeah, that definitely, because it always tells you. It tells you when it's hurt. It tells you when you need to rest. It tells you when you're sick. I mean, it tells you it's like, oh, hey, you're about to throw up. It's like you shouldn't
Right.
do that. And that's why I get sometimes kind of interest. It's always interesting about people that I don't get hangovers if I drink. So, but it's always interesting. It's like the people that drink like a lot, and I'm talking lot,
Yeah.
that still get hangovers and they still keep drinking. It's like, wow, it's like that's fascinating to me. To me, I
I
would
did
think of
it.
it.
I don't. That's why I stopped because I
Oh,
was like, I can't be hungover anymore.
yeah, I just can't see how if it's so bad, it's like why keep doing it? Bill Cosby was really funny about that. He had a joke and uh, he would always say it's like, oh yeah, and here we are working 5 days a week. Friday comes along and it's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna go get some drink on, and then he makes the gesture of he there. So by Saturday night, here we are worshiping the porcelain god, just kind of puking his guts out. Then Monday comes around and it's like, oh, I feel terrible. And then Friday comes around and oh, let's go.
Right.
So that's an interesting cycle for me. But I know there's a lot more to it, but it that those are the things that I've always found very interesting. And that why I find very accurate that joke that they say, well, my knee hurts when I bend it. It's like, well, don't bend your knee, or or at least look into the emotion. There's some justification to some of that.
Right. Yeah, it's definitely bizarre. Um, do you want to go into challenges? I was feeling it.
Yep. Let's go ahead and do
Cool.
that, and we'll wrap it up. We'll after that. So go for it.
Awesome. Um, what is my challenge? I said something earlier about it. Um, to me, it's just rest more, I guess. And I say that a lot, but I'm saying it for myself too. Just listen to your body. Like, try it out for a week or two, or a week, I guess would be the thing. Like, try following your body and see how it goes.
Hmm.
Like, be a scientist about it. Like, there's really no risk, right? Like, you're not gonna like die if you follow your body. Like, try it. Like, don't, and then see if it how it goes, because that's how you build faith in these things. And
Yeah.
then you'll slowly will just follow your body no matter what, and things will come to you. Like, I found a way to get like a couple grand without working. Like,
Mhm.
things will start, which is basically getting hail damage repair and then getting a check, because I don't care if my car has hail damage. So like, but literally I met people that told me how to do it. Like, the woman I drove did that, and she had the money. She told me, and it's my insurance company, so now I know I can do it. So like,
Mhm.
I've gotten all the confirmation by following my body. I went to a concert and made 2 grand. Like,
Hmm. Yeah, I like that.
that's just how, and it doesn't really matter. It's just like how free I am, because I know my intuition is so strong that wherever I'm at, I can survive. Like, I'm always good. And that's what happens when we think we're going to be less safe by being here,
Mhm.
but actually we would be more safe by being here.
Say that one more time because you lost me on that one. So we're more
I
safe.
ranted there for a second. We're more safe being in our bodies and being here. we think by disassociating we'd be more safe. Like I'm
Oh,
gonna be more
okay, I
safe
got
if
you.
I'm away from everything or not in my body or not. But actually, by being here, you're safer.
That's true. Okay, I got you now. I was kind of confused there, where I left my body. Who knows?
That's fine.
And for mine, it's like it's real simple. Actually, in addition to that, it's like the body is probably one of the most powerful tools that we have that can guide us in our intuition. So in addition to yours about listening to your body, it's like to me, make it make it at least one time during the day to actually just do what the body says and see what happens.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, and that's it. So I think we'll wrap it up, and thank you
Yeah,
Daniel, once again.
thank you.
Subscribe, everybody. The button's somewhere around here, somewhere. It's somewhere in there. Comment, and of course, we'll see you next time on
Bye.
Awaken Man Podcast. Bye.